Some people forgive, some people forget, and some people wait. They remember exactly what you did, exactly what you said, and they're patient. Not because they're over it, but because the right moment hasn't arrived yet. And here's the thing about people who get revenge. They don't do it impulsively. They don't lash out in the moment. They calculate. They plan. And when they finally act, it's not random, it's deliberate. So what's actually happening in the brain of someone who holds a grudge for years, waiting for the perfect opportunity to settle the score? Picture this. Someone wrongs you. Maybe they betrayed your trust. Maybe they humiliated you in front of others. Maybe they took credit for your work. And in that moment, your brain has a choice: let it go or remember. For most people, the anger fades, time passes, life moves on, and the grudge dissolves. But for some people, it doesn't fade, it crystallizes. That moment gets encoded in your memory with perfect clarity, and every time you think about it, the anger doesn't decrease, it intensifies. Psychologists call this rumination. Your brain replays the event over and over, not to process it, but to keep it alive. And here's what's fascinating. Each time you replay it, you're not just remembering what happened, you're re-experiencing the emotion. Your brain releases the same stress hormones, the same cortisol, the same adrenaline. It's like the wound never heals because you keep reopening it. But revenge-oriented people don't see this as a problem. They see it as fuel. That anger becomes their motivation. And research shows that people high in justice sensitivity, the psychological trait that makes you hyper-aware of fairness, are far more likely to seek revenge. Because to them, letting it go isn't healing, it's injustice. And there's a neurological component to this. When you imagine getting revenge, your brain's reward centers light up. The ventral striatum, the part of your brain associated with pleasure and anticipation, activates. You get a dopamine hit just from thinking about it. Revenge isn't just about punishment, it's about the satisfaction your brain predicts you'll feel when balance is restored. But here's where it gets darker. People who wait for revenge aren't just angry, they're strategic. They understand that immediate retaliation is messy, it's obvious, it's traceable, so they wait. They watch, they gather information, and when the moment is right, when you've forgotten what you did, when you're vulnerable, that's when they act. And this is what separates revenge from simple anger. Anger is hot, revenge is cold. Anger wants to hurt you now, revenge wants to hurt you perfectly. And the longer someone waits, the more calculated it becomes, because time doesn't heal the wound, it sharpens the blade. There's also a psychological phenomenon called displaced aggression. Sometimes the revenge isn't even directed at the person who wronged them. If they can't get to you directly, they'll target something you care about, your reputation, your relationships, your success. Because to them, making you suffer indirectly is almost as satisfying as confronting you directly. But here's the paradox. Research shows that people who get revenge almost never feel as satisfied as they thought they would. The brain's prediction of how good revenge will feel is almost always greater than the actual experience. Because once it's done, the anger doesn't disappear. The closure they were seeking doesn't arrive. They're left with the same emptiness, just with more consequences. And that's the tragedy of revenge psychology. The person who can't let go isn't punishing you, they're punishing themselves. Every day they spend planning, ruminating, waiting is a day they're not healing. They've handed you control over their emotional state, and you might not even know it. So if you're someone who's been wronged and you're holding on to it, waiting for your moment, ask yourself this: who's really suffering here? Because the person you're trying to hurt has moved on, and you're still standing in that moment years later, carrying a weight they don't even remember giving you. And if you're someone who's wronged others and you think they've forgiven you because they've been silent, understand this: silence isn't always peace. Sometimes it's patience, and some people never forget. If this made you think, subscribe, because we're going to keep exploring the psychology of why people do what they do, and maybe, just maybe, understanding it will help you let go.